Well, it is official. Harvard has finally given us a list that we have all been waiting for. Actually, no one knew it was coming, so here we go. This is their research that, according to them, what great leaders do when they're trying to motivate their best employees. Apparently, it comes down to three simple things, so we're going to talk about it, and I want to know if you agree or not. Hey, I'm Ryan. I love working with quality humans who want to make a big impact, and if that's you, stick around. And also, disclaimer, I work with founders and CEOs who actually carry the weight of the business. So if that's you, keep listening, but if it's not, maybe send this to the person or tag the person who actually is living this in reality every day, because they're probably going to get more out of it than you will. Sorry. All right, first, this research is built on the foundation of a principle that a lot of people misunderstand called psychological safety. Now, a lot of people will say that that means everyone should play nice and not rock the boat, no conflict, no raised voices, no sharp edges, but that's not what this means. But here's the problem. When people feel like the goal is to be nice, people tend to stop being honest. So you'll see people like smile and nod in meetings, but they keep their opinions to themselves. But what actually works is creating an environment where people feel safe enough to be candid, to challenge ideas, to disagree, and to say like, hey, I don't think that's gonna work. They're not being malicious. They're not tearing someone else down. They're just being honest. And that, as a leader, is what you want. You want people contributing their honest to goodness thoughts to make ideas better. That's what the best leaders actually foster. But let's get into this research because it actually has three main points. Point one, the first thing that Harvard found is the best leaders talk less about safety and more about mission. Because the strongest teams know, like in their bones, where the company is headed. Not in vague terms, not in some weird fuzzy paragraph on their website, but in clear, concise language that they can actually joke about it when they're in a break room. I once worked with a team where everybody in the company, everybody, could finish the mission statement in shorthand. Not because it was printed on a wall, but because it was burned and etched into how people talked. That sort of clarity is what pulls people out of fear. It basically says, here's what matters, here's why it matters, and here's how your work connects to that. And that's really what gives your people fuel. Not safety so much, but purpose. Now, the second point that Harvard found is have better meetings. Let's be honest, most company meetings suck. They start late, they ramble, people drift off topic, you waste everyone's time. I can't tell you how many meetings I've observed where people sit in a room for 60 minutes and everyone left not knowing what the hell they accomplished. Meetings like that suck. They're a waste of everyone's time and resources, not worth having. And also, you should know, in general, I tend to not love meetings. Unless they're actually moving the business forward, I don't like meeting for the sake of meetings. I am a fan, though, of a tight, weekly, 90-minute tactical meeting. And here's what this looks like. You start with a quick icebreaker, 5 minutes max, and it's nothing fancy, it's nothing cheesy, but all you're really doing is getting everyone present. You're helping them transition into the space so you can actually focus the energy. Then you're gonna go around the table and you're gonna ask everyone one simple question: on track or off? Basically, whatever was decided in the week before's meeting, whatever decisions, whatever priorities, whoever was accountable for it, you're just gonna ask, are you on track or off track? You're not gonna get into the story, there's not gonna be explanations, there's no excuses. It's just like, are we where we need to be, or are we off where we need to be? That's it. No chasing rabbits, no big sob story, just are you on track or off? And then you get into the meat of the meeting. You surface the issues, the real ones, not the easy ones. Let people disagree, invite dissent, because when somebody pushes back, ideas almost always get sharper. And the goal here is actually to solve the root problem, right? Don't just admire the issue, get to the crux of the problem, be able to say the problem as succinctly as you possibly can, and then solve that, right? The goal is to not get all complicated and fancy. It's just you're actioning, you're getting things done. And you're gonna end that segment by assigning clear ownership and deadlines. That way, no one leaves the meeting thinking, who had what, or I'm not sure what I'm responsible for. Nope, your name is on the action item. You know what you need to do, knock it out. We're gonna check with you next week. And really, that's it. You start on time, you end on time, and you do it every week. It sounds crazy simple, but it changes everything because people tend to stop dreading the meetings. They start looking forward to them because the problems actually start getting solved. They start seeing this flywheel spin up, and it makes people feel awesome. It keeps your best people engaged in what you're doing. Now, the third thing that great leaders did in this study is build structures that kept the learning visible. Because teams don't grow by accident, they grow by design. And what that means is putting in rhythms where people start to reflect on what's working and what's not. Share best practices, centralize what you learn, especially if you're in a remote organization. Make it possible for anybody wherever they live to get access to this best practice information. One of the things I coach a lot of companies on is that you should never be solving the same problems today the same way a year from now? If you are, you're not learning, because great companies are going to expect their people to get better over time. They're going to expect them to kind of develop these muscles for identifying the issues and solving them. And they're going to expect the team to solve them faster and with more confidence and eventually solve more complicated problems. And when you put that into a cadence, like weekly reflections, visible scorecards, consistent accountability, that really makes learning and growth a part of your company culture. And it turns out that's how you keep your top performers motivated, not by protecting them, but by stretching them. And honestly, what I love about the research is that it lines up perfectly with what we do at Eightfold Advantage. We help leaders build the kind of structures where meetings are sharp, mission is clear, and learning never stops. And it's what keeps your best people engaged, right? It keeps the business moving forward. So now I'm curious, do you agree or disagree with this study? I want to hear from you. Drop in the comments. And if you're ready to actually build this kind of team, maybe it's time we have a conversation.